Right. Yeah, you don't want to do the work anymore, but you still want to supervise that work. If you pop the drive out and it's the wrong drive, well, that's your own fault. Honestly, that feels a little bit better than if someone else popped out the wrong drive on your behalf. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
What the heck? Who are these idiots?
Yeah, like I could blame myself, but yeah, somebody else is way worse.
Right. Yeah. And then you're like, I learned something. It was all worth it. Well, we'll see. We need to make it possible to supervise that operation, to understand how everything works. You need to understand it so you can communicate effectively with our own support team if you're having an issue and that kind of thing. So it's not kind of the same level of opacity as you might get from something which is, lower risk, potentially lower value, like, a domain-focused, vertically integrated API. Because the way, like, we're sort of going through a series of transitions as we usually do in industry. We had all on-prem everything. Even for payments, like you would go get, like, I don't know, your physical payment block, and you'd like sign a contract with Braintree for like thousands of dollars and stuff, and you'd be able to like take some credit cards, and then things like Stripe and Square moved that into APIs. The same way for software infrastructure. We had on-prem deployments, then we got managed cloud, then we moved to more dynamic managed cloud with VMs and fast provisioning, and even more dynamic with containers. And now we're moving into purely API-driven infrastructure solutions where there's no physicality at all, but databases lag because they're harder. So we're in this transition, especially you see it with things in the serverless space, like you mentioned Netlify. Netlify and Vercel and their deployment and hosting systems, a lot of the work the edge providers are doing with eventually consistent data and caching and that kind of thing. Lambda and moving to more dynamic, even interfaces which aren't based on POSIX anymore, like WebAssembly. All of that is driving us to this world where physicality and the computer metaphor doesn't matter anymore.